My ex-boyfriend was the most manipulative and abusive person I have ever met, and I was only 17. So get your favorite snack, drink, whatever, because every time I relive this story, I just remember how toxic this guy was and how embarrassing for me to allow this to go on for so long. I was a junior in high school. I was, what, 16, 17 years old. He was in the grade above me. We'll call this guy the most basic name I can think of at the top of my head, and we'll call him Tyler. So Tyler, so boom, I met Tyler through a mutual friend, and when I say sparks, just instantly, like we just had an instant connection, right? It was undeniable at that point, and we weren't even dating right away. So I think we were friends for about what, 5-6 months before we actually like, okay, let's, you know, take it to the next level. Let's date one another. Brother, I was not initially just attracted to him purely off of his looks. Definitely one of those situations where his personality definitely, you know, took the cake a little bit. He was super sweet, super generous. Like, he was just a very thoughtful person. So I thought. It wasn't exactly that, honestly. And that first year of me being a junior in high school, you know, everything was normal. We were always with each other, constantly hanging out with one another. And like, I would kind of notice some issues, but it wasn't that evident to me until I started my senior year and he wasn't coming to my school anymore. When I tell you, this man, I won't even call him a man, this boy was so controlling, bro. Like, I remember we were outside of our school and I may have gotten a message from a guy. It was a friend though. Nothing more, nothing less. That's not my vibe. I don't cheat. You know, I'm that type of girl. When I'm in love, I'm in love. Like, I don't see anybody. All I saw was him. That's it. Nobody else. Tyler was the only person that was on my mental at the time. But anyways, he sees a message come through, right? And he's like, who's that? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're exchanging. His immediate reaction was to like delete all the numbers of guys that were on my phone. Like, gone. And whoever he saw on my phone was like, delete, 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 delete. Like, he was not playing. I think for me, when he did that, I was like, okay, this guy's a little bit insecure, you know? For me, it wasn't a make or break moment. I was like, I guess I'm not talking to anybody else, you know? I don't really care. I mean, all I care about is you, so who cares, right? I wasn't really tripping. I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird, but I wasn't tripping. And then it started getting really weird. Before games, you know, me and my teammates, we would like to go, you know, grab something to eat before our games. You know, we're hungry or whatever from school. And I remember he texted me and was like, oh, you can't go with your friends. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, I'm hungry. And he was like, yeah, but I don't care. You need to stay at school. Like, give them your money and then have them bring something for you back. Immediately, I'm thinking like, oh my God, this guy doesn't believe me. He doesn't trust me. He thinks that I'm not doing what I'm saying I'm doing. And in reality, that's exactly what I was doing. I was going with my teammates to go get some food. But my dumbass stayed at school by myself. And this man proceeded to ask me every 30 minutes to send him a picture that I was still at school, that I had not gone out with my friends to go get something to eat. And I did it. This is a guy that doesn't trust you. So why are you in a relationship with somebody that doesn't trust you? Especially when you haven't given him any reason to not trust you, right? I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm being as faithful as I can be. Like, there's just no reason. And since we're on the topic of controlling, I think being manipulative is in the same realm of controlling. But anytime we would get into arguments, he would get extremely loud, right? And he would start calling me out of my name, you know, this, all types of names. And it was to the point, like, I am a crier. I'm a natural crier. I hate that about myself, but when I get flustered, I just start crying, and I would be on the other side of the phone kind of crying. It's almost as if he would flip the script. What are we even upset about? And then we'll proceed to be like, oh, like, you don't love me. Why are you acting like this? Like, if you truly love me, you know, I'm gonna break up with you. He would always like threaten me that he would leave me, right? Like, girl, leave this man. God is sending you a message right then and there. Leave. And I didn't. And I hated that because I felt like when he would say that, I would have to prove that I cared about him. That yes, I love you. What are you talking about? Like, of course I want this. But it's like, why? He was mentally abusive and it was exhausting. Like, just constantly hearing names about you. It's just like, yo, I don't deserve that. At no point in our relationship did I ever deserve that. I feel like when you're a controlling person, you tend to get angry a lot too. And his temper would flare. I remember this was around Christmas time and I had recently bought him a new iPhone. He had known I bought him an iPhone. I'm not really good with secrets, so I told him that I bought it, but I wasn't gonna give it to him until Christmas Day. I think maybe a week prior, a few days prior to Christmas, we got into an argument. I can't even tell you what that argument was about. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I remember everything after that happened. He got so mad at me that he threw his phone on my floor. Completely obliterated his phone, right? Smash, screen smash. It's not working. Like it's done, right? Asked me to give him his new phone that I had bought him. And I gave it to him. I said, here, take it. He was pleading, give me my new phone. Give me my new phone. So I gave it to him, right? He takes the new phone. He leaves my house. Like, we just left it at that, right? To go to his grandparents' house, which is like, I don't know, it's like 10 minutes away from my house. I get a random phone call. I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, should I answer this? I'm like, I don't know. But I decide to answer it because I'm like, maybe it's him trying to call me. I don't know. And it was. So I pick up the phone and he's like, if you want this relationship still, meet me at my grandparents' house. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Like, this was more towards the end of our relationship. And I hung up the phone and I really contemplated to myself. I'm like, is this the type of man that I want in my life? Like, this is who I want to have a relationship with? I was like, damn, I don't think I should go. My gut, my intuition was telling me, nah, don't go. But my heart, I'm that kind of person that doesn't give up on relationships easily. I don't give up on people easily. So if I ever give up on somebody, that means I've really reached my breaking point. Like, it takes me so long to get there and I didn't reach it yet. So I drove over to his grandparents' house. He got into my car and we proceeded to talk about whatever we were arguing about at my house. And I must have said something to really tick him off and I'm not sure what it was. This was a long time ago. He got so mad. He balled up his fist and punched the shit out of my windshield. I'm talking about he cracked my windshield. How do you do that? It's kind of crazy because his whole demeanor just like switched. He completely did a 180. He was feeling so angry and mad, like, right? And he just like, oh shit. Like, did I just do that? Yes, nigga, you did. He gets out the car, is like pulling on his hair, right? Like a fucking maniac. DD, oh, what it is? Oh, DD. And he's kind of like just walking back and forth on the street, like, like he doesn't know what he's doing, whatever. He's like, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, I didn't mean to do that. And he like just becomes super apologetic about the situation. And I'm furious because all I can think about, I'm high school and I have a fat ass crack in my windshield. And I don't know if I was afraid to tell my mom the truth because when I tell you, my family really liked him so much. Maybe that's what kept me there in that relationship for a long time because that was a first, or I never experienced that where my family was actually happy with who I was dating. It's almost as if I didn't want to tear down his character, right? So instead of calling my mom and telling her what had happened, I told her that I was on the highway and a rock flew off, one of those pickup trucks and hit my windshield. I thought that was the most believable story that I could come up with. And I think I did a pretty damn good job. But at what cost? The only thing that was actually saving the situation was, in the state of Florida, fixing a windshield is actually free. If I had to pay out of pocket for it, and I mean, he was saying, I'm gonna help pay for it, don't worry. But this brings me to my second red flag about Tyler. Tyler was the kind of dude where his affection could be misinterpreted for love and, oh, this person really admires me, but it was actually a form of love bombing in a very negative way. Like I said, one of the reasons why I was even attracted to Tyler was because he was so caring and so thoughtful, and that is so true. He constantly reminded me of how much he loved me and cared about me. He sent me messages in the morning just as a constant reminder of that. And it wasn't just verbally, he expressed it physically as well. That didn't come off the right way. What I mean to say is, he would bring me flowers every week. He would surprise me with flowers. I remember one time I was leaving basketball practice and I go to my car and there's just a bouquet of flowers in the passenger side. A senior in high school, I'm like, wow, like, oh, okay. Like, he's coming correct. I used to love that. But what I wasn't understanding at that time was he was using it to manipulate me. You know, during arguments and, you know, disagreements, he would constantly remind me, oh, but I do this and I do that. He almost used it as a weapon against me. Oh, because of this, like, you can't be mad. Like, I still do this and I'm still that. Like I said, when he would call me out of my name, he would just be like, I do all this for you. I love you. Like, he would just constantly use his love as a way to weaponize a situation. And at that time, I wasn't fully aware of what he was doing, and it was working to benefit him. Whereas I didn't understand. I wasn't processing what was happening. I was just like, oh, he's right. Like, you know, he does do all this for me. And it would almost negate all the other negative things that I wasn't happy about. One thing's for certain, be aware of how people show you affection, because showing affection isn't a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just how people use it. Is it with good intentions or with bad intentions? It's not always easy to catch either. Because we were together so often, he could constantly be surveillancing me and seeing what I'm doing. The only time I wasn't with him was after basketball and when I went home, and then I would immediately see him the next morning. But the moment that he wasn't able to surveillance the situation, his insecurities just started pouring out. Everything just started unveiling super fast. There was this one time after my basketball game, just finished the game, just won, he was there cheering me on. Everything is perfectly normal. We go back to his car and he mentions that there's a football game going on at the same time. You know, it just kind of started. So he's like, dude, you want to go? And I'm like, sure, you know, I'm down. But I wanted to change out of my uniform. I just finished a basketball game. I'm smelly, you know. I would at least like to change back into my other clothes. I did not want to go wearing my basketball clothes to the football game. I just did not want to do that. I'd rather change into my basketball sweats that I had and call it a day. He was like, no. And I was like, why? And it just was a back and forth about why I just go with your basketball clothes. Like, don't change, don't need to change, right? And this brings me to another point that I was not certain that I was going to mention in this video. But when he would ask little things of me to do and I would say no, I would call them punishments. He would punish me in a way. And for YouTube monetization purposes, I'm not going to mention what kind of punishments they were, but try to think in your head what that could be. And it was that. That red flag was dancing all over the place. And I was just like, where? What flag? All I saw was green. But this brings me to his worst red flag. Like I was mentioning before about the basketball game, eventually, because he was getting so upset about the fact that I wanted to change, I just did not change. I was wearing my basketball uniform and we walked over to the football field that was on the other side of campus. The way to get to the football field, kind of like a back alley, it's pretty dark. So we're walking together, he's visibly upset, and I'm like, kind of just like poking at him, kind of trying to lighten the mood up a little bit. I did not lighten the mood up at all. I just did quite the opposite. So I think I went to poke him one more time. He asked me to stop. He was like, can you stop? Whatever. But you know, I'm thinking it's like playful. You know, I'm trying to be playful, try to lighten up that mood. But tapped him one last time and that dude went across my face. I fell to the ground. He picks me up, right? I'm talking about, I don't even know. He probably picks me up from like the collar of my shirt. He like grabs me and picks me up. First immediate question isn't like, are you okay? Like, you know, I'm sorry. He was like, I remember this so vividly. He said, you better not tell anybody at school tomorrow. You better not say anything about it at school tomorrow. Because remember, we're still on campus. There's cameras lined up that whole back. But, like I said, it's dark. And I'm not thinking, anybody's not probably watching those security cameras unless, you know, there was a reason to. So I wasn't expecting anybody to ask me, you know, hey, are you okay? No. I would have to formally go to somebody and be like, yo, look at the cameras because this dude hit me. He just grabbed me and I felt like I went into this zone of just darkness. Like I just was like, it was almost tunnel vision. It's like I didn't see anything. I just knew something was off. Like, this is not right. This is wrong, Sammy. This is not a healthy relationship. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. And it's crazy because I didn't immediately leave after that. It's almost like I needed the validation I was trying to tell myself wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to be like, yeah, I gotta walk away from Tyler. Like, it's not working. It's like my mind was telling me, like, Sammy, this is enough. God was trying to talk to me. He was trying to tell me, and I wasn't listening because I felt that in my heart. It was like, no, he could change, and you know, he could be a better person. This isn't how he always was. No, this is exactly who he's been the entire time. That first half was a facade, it was a disguise. It wasn't who you were truly with. He was putting on a show, it was an act. And now you're seeing exactly who he is. I didn't break up with him. You know what got me to actually break up with Tyler? My friend. Sorry. Fuck. I had texted my friend and I had laid it all out. You know, I told her exactly what was going on, and she was just like, Sammy, no, this isn't right. Like, you gotta leave. And that day, just her saying that, she's like, Sammy, you're beautiful. You don't deserve this. This is not who you want in a relationship. That was all the validation that I needed. Enough is enough, Sammy. Like, this can't go on. I didn't even call him. I think I was scared to call him. My initial thing was like, oh, he's gonna be very upset with this news, so I'm not gonna call him. I'm in school, he's not near me. I thought this was like the safest way to go about the situation. So I texted him and I just told him, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I don't like the way that I'm being treated, and you know, this is over. I did it in the middle of school, and I know I didn't deserve, I didn't owe him anything. You know, I don't feel bad that I did it through text message and not over a phone call. I really don't. I don't feel like he didn't deserve any part of me. I mean, when I tell you, this man started turning up. Like, we were going back and forth. He's like, no, you can't leave. Like, I love you. Why would you do this? At some point, I was just like, I just stopped answering my phone altogether and was like, and he just kept, you know, sending long paragraphs. And the crazy part about it, I'm like, oh, I felt this weight off my shoulders, right? I'm just like, yes, Sammy, you did it. Like, you did that. I didn't mention this before, but this isn't my first time with abuse. You know, I actually grew up in a very abusive and toxic home. It just felt so relieving to be like, yeah, I stopped this. I'm stopping something. This ends with me. You know, what happened in my house is that was kind of outside of my control, and that may be another video topic I may talk about in the future. I don't know about that one yet, but this relationship ended with me. But yeah, so I went about my day and I was actually felt really relieved. But like I said, this dude was toxic. He was crazy. And he wasn't gonna let me go with just like, hey, Sammy, just bye. No. This man showed up to my car. I was in basketball practice. I actually had one of his friends waiting outside my car. Like, they're literally sitting on my car. And I'm like, I don't even talk to you guys like that. Like, we are not close. Why are you here? And it was just very coincidental because obviously the day I break up with him, why are your friends hanging around my car? And they're trying to like level with me about the situation. They're trying to talk about who I almost name dropped so bad just now. They tried, oh, Tyler really loves you, whatever. But they were kind of blocking my car, like the door of my car, so I couldn't get inside. And then who think coming from around the corner? Tyler come down trying to, oh, I love you, don't leave me, like I want this, I'll make it work, I'll be better, blah blah blah. All these empty promises, right? I felt so bombarded. There's like 3 dudes just surrounding me trying to tell me like I made the wrong decision and this is not what I'm supposed to do. No. You know what I did? I literally was like, no, you don't get a choice in this anymore. This is over, this is done, and I'm not doing this anymore with you. I can't. I physically cannot do this anymore with you. Move from my car right now. I'm not playing with you. Move. And he got tears rolling down his eyes too. Like, he was a very emotional person too. And he's begging me not to leave. Begging me. please, Sammy, don't leave me. You know what I did? I got in my car and I left. And it didn't necessarily end that way, because you know, somebody like that doesn't just let you just walk away from their life. He definitely, you know, was calling me, bombarding me with text messages and stuff like that. But that's as far as it got afterwards. That day, it ended. Shout out to my friend, because she just reminded me of who I was as a person and what... Why am I crying again? I told you I was a crier. Just reminded me of who I was and what I can't and shouldn't allow. And shout out to Nikki. That's a real friend. I have definitely grown from that situation, and I no longer have those issues in my relationships, and I am better because of it. And yeah, just make sure to take care of yourself, guys. I know this situation is very common in a lot of people's relationships and situations, you know, whatever. Just never tolerate that. That's one thing that you should never ever tolerate. There is never a reason to ever be physical, man or woman. Don't be physical. There's no need for it. Everything can be solved with a simple conversation. And that all boils down to having good communication and a better understanding of yourself. Once you have that down pat, I'm telling you, relationships are so much easier. Not, they're still hard, but way easier than whatever you've had in the past. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that. I love to hear your stories and whatnot. Appreciate every single one of you. Adios.